So this is a short unboxing video of me just treating myself to a new bandsaw. It's the third bandsaw that I own. This is the Lumberjack 9-inch BS228. It's a benchtop bandsaw and it's to replace the Titan bandsaw of a very similar size that I've decided to replace, to upgrade. I already have a Lumberjack 14-inch, so I know the brand, I know its quality, I like it, and it's very familiar to me. So this is really, whilst it is unboxing it, there's many unboxing videos on the internet, so this is really more about the fact that I want to talk about the setup. When it arrived with me, I got it out of the box, followed the instructions, and the setup was way more complicated than I expected, even though this is the third bandsaw that I've owned, and so I'm well used to actually setting up bandsaws. So first of all, this table didn't want to go on. I had to disassemble quite a few items off the back of the bandsaw before I could actually fit the table, and that wasn't documented in the instructions. So having disassembled the back, taken quite a few items off, I was then able to get the table on, reapply all the items, make sure that it was all level, which it was, and put on the hook for the push stick, which is actually a really useful feature. The fence and the mitre gauge I don't actually use. I've never used them on my small bandsaw, so I don't think I'll be using them on this. This is really more for doing very delicate, round, intricate cuts, so I certainly won't be using a fence. I've got a 14-inch Lumberjack which I use for resawing, so this is really for doing the intricate stuff.
You probably would have seen that I spent an awful lot of time manually running round like this and doing a lot of adjusting. I'm surprised how much I had to adjust out of the box. Now, the manual is actually quite good at explaining what all the different things do, but basically you've got two roller bearings here, and the idea with that is that as you're pushing the wood through, this blade, especially a small blade like this, will flex, and those are there to support the blade and stop it from flexing any further than it should. And then at the back you've got what I call a thrust bearing, but I don't know if that's the right word for it, and basically that's so that as you're pushing through there will be a certain amount of tension pushing the blade backwards, and you don't really want the blade to go too far back. So as the blade goes back, that thrust bearing there will stop it from going too far back. So you want to adjust this whole unit to be just behind the teeth of the blade, and then you adjust each of these individual ones by undoing these Allen nuts in the middle, and then you can slide them from side to side, and you want them to be a few millimeters. I might have that one too far away, I think, but a few millimeters away from the blade, such that if there is a bit of movement it will actually run against that roller. Just be a bit careful with this, but you don't want to touch the front of this blade too much because it is still quite sharp, especially as it's new. But as that gets pushed backwards, you want the rear bearing to just start moving, but as you're just running it manually like this, you don't want any of those three bearings to be moving. If any of those are moving, they're too close to the blade. So you want nothing moving at all, but you want each of them to actually be there to support. And then you do exactly the same, which, as you saw, I had to get my light out to see, so this is probably going to be far too dark for you to see, but you've got a bearing left and right, and you've got a thrust bearing at the back, and it's exactly the same. You want them to be able to move and touch each, but you don't want, when you're turning it, you don't want any of them to be moving at all. So no movement. Now something is catching, and I can't quite work out what it is. I've adjusted everything and I can't see what's catching, but there's just something making a slight noise. But I'm going to try it with some wood, try it with a cut and see what it looks like. But there was a little bit more that needed setting up there than I was expecting, so don't just expect to get it out of the box and just do your first cut straight out of the box. Okay, well that was just a very simple test cut, but you can see it's cut a quite nice tight circle there, and that's I'm pretty sure that's a 6mm blade that's on there. There was a bit more set up than I had anticipated, and I'm quite glad that I've set up 2 other bandsaws before, because that sort of came as second nature. But if that's your first bandsaw, I'd watch some videos on YouTube first. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that, and I'm going to get my dust extraction in that port there. So it does mean you do get a build-up of sawdust in here, but the vast majority of the build-up of the sawdust is down here, and so if you've got decent dust extraction, that does keep that pretty clear. And you have got a tray which some of the dust will fall through into, so keep an eye on that and empty that on a regular basis as well. But overall, that's yeah, it's a nice machine. Oh, I haven't used the light. Let's just check that that works. Some people have complained about the light not working. Yeah, that's nice. I have got used to having a light on my big Lumberjack, so again, having one here, it's sometimes quite tricky to actually get it into the right place to shine on the material. I like to have it shining from the side, so it's sometimes a bit tricky to get it to shine exactly where you want it without blinding you. But it's a nice little addition to have that light. I thought it was a bit of a gimmick when I first got my other Lumberjack, but it really is quite nice. As you saw when I was trying to adjust, the lighting isn't the best in this old shed, so having that light shining right on your cutting piece is a nice feature. So if you've got any questions about bandsaws in general, or specifically about this bandsaw or the 14-inch Lumberjack or even the Titan, then leave comments in the section down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you've got time to like the video, that would be amazing, and if you've got time to subscribe to the channel, even better. Get my numbers up slowly, and until next time, stay safe.